Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Chapter 11. Cell, it's time to end the boring game. In the past 8 years, he has also set foot on countless planets. But there wasn't an opponent worthy of his all-out fight. Not even at the level of Son Goku and Son Gohan. Unexpectedly, returning to Earth this time would actually allow him to experience the hearty excitement again. Whoosh whoosh. The bodies of the two are constantly interlacing, just like two beams of golden light are constantly colliding. Bang bang bang. One after another sonic boom circles appear continuously in the sky, and every time a sonic boom circle appears, a deep pit will appear on the ground. Wow, that's amazing. It's unbelievable. How did Godin train? At this age, it's actually possible to reach this level. Keelan was completely dumbfounded. To be precise, at this moment he was completely unable to see the speed of the two of them clearly. But what is certain is that the current Godin already has the strength not weaker than Goku. Maybe this battle, Godin has a chance to win. Come on, Godin. The fate of the Earth this time is entrusted to you. Kling can only cheer for Son Godin in his heart. Because of the battle between the two of them at this moment, he has completely lost his hand. Even if transformed into an artificial human, even now he already has the strength beyond the original Android 16. But in front of the full-body Cell, it is simply vulnerable. Time passed by every minute and every second. The battle between Son Godin and Cell has also entered a fierce stage. From the beginning, the two relied on speed to avoid attacks, and now they are fighting hand to hand. Bang bang bang. The two were constantly bumping fists, and all their fists, elbows, and knees turned into sharp weapons for attack. As the battle continued, scars of varying degrees appeared on both of their bodies. Boom, rumble. It was another collision with full force, and the whole earth trembled violently. The bodies of Son Godin and Cell also retreated several hundred feet away. Thump thump. When Son Godin's body fell to the ground, he backed up several steps in a row. There were also several clear footprints on the hard ground, and only then did he stop his body. At this time, the rest of his combat uniform was torn, and there was a bloodstain on the corner of his mouth. Cell was not much better, and had scratches of varying degrees on his body. Apparently, Son Godin's attack wasn't completely ineffective for him either. Godin, are you okay? Keelan hurriedly asked with concern. Fine. Son Godin shook his head. Cell's strength is indeed ridiculously strong. Before using the form of Lightning Cell, the strength is already so terrifying. If this guy goes all out, it might really take an ultra instinct to deal with it. It's really good, brat. You are the first opponent who made me feel pain after Son Gohan. Cell wiped the purple blood from the corner of his mouth, and there was still incomparable excitement in his eyes. He has not experienced this kind of hearty battle for 8 years. Cut. Son Godin clenched his fist tightly. Ha ha. With a roar, he began to raise his aura again. Golden flames erupted from his body instantly. At this moment, Son Godin's hair and body exuded a golden halo. At this time, he already has the power of Super Saiyan limit. Just one step away from being able to break through to the form of Super Saiyan 2. Small step, but it is difficult to break through. Ha ha. Cell also roared, and a purple halo instantly emanated from around his body. At this time, the aura of the two of them once again reached the level of being evenly matched. Whizzing. Without too much nonsense, they rushed towards each other again. Boom. Cell punched Son Godin hard on the jaw. The moment his body flew upside down, Son Godin's knee hit Cell's chin heavily. The bodies of the two flew upside down again. Whoosh whoosh. Bang bang bang. Keelan was completely unable to see the figures and movements of the two of them clearly, not even the afterimages. This kind of head-to-head fighting with punches and kicks lasted for 5 minutes. Son Godin is covered in bruises. Boom. There was another muffled sound. Son Godin's body was directly kicked out by Cell. After all, there is still a large gap between the strengths of the two. Rumble. A huge hole was smashed into the ground. Godin. Clint's expression changed. It seems that although Godin has the same strength as Goku 8 years ago, compared with Cell, he is still not an opponent. Damn bastard. I will never forgive you. Kling stared at Cell angrily. Even if he dies today, he must die before Godin. Maybe after arriving in the underworld, he can also explain to Goku. Kamehameha wave. Ha ha. The moment the angry roar fell, Keelan clasped his hands together, condensing the Kamehameha wave. The blue energy was so terrifying that even the surrounding air was squeezed and made strange noises. Then blast directly to Cell. You idiot, this kind of trick doesn't work for me. Cell glanced at Keelan dismissively. The Kamehameha cannon was simply ignored. With a quick slap, the Kamehameha wave directly changed direction and rushed out of the earth. In fact, Kling's strength at this time is already very good, but compared with Cell, the gap is still too big. Whoosh! After flying Kamehameha wave easily, Cell's body appeared in front of Keelan like a ghost. Then with an uppercut, it hit Keelan's lower abdomen heavily. Boom! Wow! A mouthful of blood spewed out of his mouth again. Keelan knelt down on the ground, holding his abdomen with his hands and vomited frantically. Obviously, he was in great pain at this time. Idiots who are overconfident, I have lost interest in you. Next, let's reunite with Son Goku and the others. Cell's cold voice fell, and the banter on his face disappeared. That's all for today's game. Keelan and that brat have completely lost the ability to fight. It's time for this boring game to end. Chapter 12. While speaking, a purple energy ball had condensed from Cell's palm. Then it aimed directly at Klin's body. This energy ball can absolutely kill Klin, who has lost his fighting power. After all, human beings are made of flesh and blood. Although it has been transformed by Bulma, it can be called an artificial human in name. But because the time is too hasty, so it's just a wireless energy device installed in Keelan's body. No modifications were made to his body. Godin, live. You are the hope of the earth, you must live. Keelan can naturally feel that he has reached the end of his life. When Cell's energy ball falls, it is the end of his life. Then he raised his head and glanced at Son Goten, who had stood up with despairing eyes. Said in an extremely firm tone, "Stop daydreaming, little bald head. None of you can survive today, and this earth will be completely destroyed by me. From now on, disappear forever in this universe." Cell said with a look of disdain. In this universe, no one can stop him anymore. Then, the energy ball blasted out. Krillin, Son Goten roared. The seriously injured body rushed directly towards Klin like an arrow from the string. Since he traveled to the world of Dragon Ball, he has only met so few people. Apart from his mother, Chi-Chi, the one with the best relationship is Keelan, who has been with him for a whole year in the spiritual time room. So he absolutely does not allow Keelan to die like this. Boom! The energy ball exploded instantly. A huge crater with a diameter of 100 feet was directly blasted out of the ground. The bodies of Son Goten and Keelan were also directly blasted out. TCH. Heart-piercing pain spread throughout Son Goten's body. At this time, Keelan had completely fainted. Cut. Is it human hypocrisy again? What I hate the most is your hypocrisy. Smelly brat, it's all over. Unexpectedly, that brat took the initiative to block most of the attacks for that little bald head. This annoys Cell even more. Then the body jumped up and stretched out the index finger, a golden energy instantly condensed from the fingertips. Then began to expand rapidly. In a blink of an eye, the energy ball was the size of a basketball court. Apparently, this is the planet-destroying bomb that Frieza has used before. He is 100% sure that this energy ball can not only completely destroy this brat and Klin, and it can make the entire Earth completely disappear from the universe. It's all over. Little ghost, little bald head, say goodbye to this beautiful world. Ha ha ha. Along with frenzied laughter, the planet-destroying bomb from Cell's fingertips fell directly towards Son Goten and Keelan. Damn, do you want to use Ultra Instinct? Although that can kill Cell in an instant, I'm afraid I won't be able to use this opportunity to break through to Super Saiyan 2. Looking at the rapidly falling planet-destroying bomb, Son Goten was very troubled at this moment. He can use Ultra Instinct at any time. And once you use Ultra Instinct, you can easily kill Cell in seconds. It's just that he wants to use the battle with Cell to break through to the form of Super Saiyan 2. To break through Saiyan's limit requires endless anger and a sense of dying oppression. Right now, is a very good opportunity. If you miss this opportunity, you don't know when you will have to wait. Just when Son Goten was struggling, the energy ball was already less than 10 meters away from the ground. The terrifying pressure directly turned the surrounding mountain gravel into dust. The ground also began to crack and collapse rapidly. The hurricane was blowing, the dust was flying, and it was like a scene of the end of the world. Bring it on. Feeling the overwhelming pressure, Son Goten gritted his teeth and directly resisted the energy ball with both hands. It's just that the seriously injured body can't stop the planetary destruction bomb at all. Rumble. The planet-destroying bomb fell rapidly, and the ground began to collapse continuously. The whole Earth began to shake violently. Cell folded his hands on his chest, waiting for the planet to explode. The explosion of the planet is like the gorgeous fireworks blooming in the universe, it must be quite beautiful. After everyone on the Earth felt the terrifying shock, they seemed to be aware of the coming of the end. Everyone was shaking with fear. Many media and reporters have found Satan's villa and asked him to solve the crisis of the Earth. But after seeing the power of the monster cell 8 years ago, the current Satan has long been frightened. Fame and life put him in a dilemma. On the battlefield, a huge abyss appeared. The bodies of Son Goten and Keelan have completely disappeared. Rumble. Suddenly, the entire ground began to shake more violently. At this moment, the clouds in the sky began to move around quickly. What happened? That kid's aura is getting stronger. Are you kidding? How could this happen? At this time Cell also suddenly felt something was wrong. Son Goten's weakened breath just now has actually increased at this moment. And this growth is amazing. Rumble. See la la. Accompanied by violent tremors, wisps of blue arcs actually appeared on the ground. See la la. The blue electric arc spread rapidly with a momentum visible to the naked eye, making crackling noises. A feeling of uneasiness lingered in Cell's heart for an instant. It seems that something bad is going to happen next. Just when Cell was extremely shocked and disturbed. In the dark abyss on the ground, a dazzling golden light shone. The huge planet-destroying bomb actually started to move upwards. Rustle. See la la. At the same time, it was accompanied by the sound of rustling flames and crackling lightning. Under Cell's shocked and puzzled expression, Son Goten raised the planet-destroying bomb with one hand. The other hand is holding Keelan, who is already in a coma. At this time, Son Goten has undergone tremendous changes. The blonde hair stands tall, the eyes become narrow and long, looking extremely indifferent and aloof. What's more, the golden gas flames around the body are in the form of jets, and there are also blue electric arcs around the body. At this time, Son Goten suddenly changed into the form of Super Saiyan 2. Chapter 13. But, damn, this look. Exactly the same as Son Gohan 8 years ago. Did this guy use the pressure I gave him to break through his limits? Cell's face instantly became gloomy. Originally thought that the brat in front of him was just his plaything, but just now he was ready to completely destroy this Earth. But I didn't expect that at this time, this stinky brat actually broke through his own limit. Perhaps his current strength is comparable to that of Son Gohan back then. But the surprise is the surprise, even so, he is absolutely impossible to be his opponent. He was able to beat Son Gohan 8 years ago, and he can beat this brat now. And in the past 8 years, even if he didn't train much, his strength has improved. And at this time, Keelan also woke up. He opened his eyes in a daze, and then saw the state of Son Goten in front of him. Blue electric arcs flickered around the body. He is too familiar with this form. Gohan had reached this form in the first place, and almost wiped out Cell completely. It's great, Goten, you finally broke through your limits. At this moment, Keelan was extremely weak, but also extremely excited. He had already planned to die before, but he didn't expect Goten to save him. And now Goten has broken through his own limit. Perhaps this is a blessing and a curse. Mr. Keelan, you can go to the side and have a rest. This battle will be over soon. Son Goten's tone was very indifferent, and after he finished speaking, he directly pushed Keelan's body out. Then it landed firmly on the ground. Then, his indifferent gaze turned to Cell. Smelly brat, do you think that you have broken through your own limit and have reached this form to be qualified to be my opponent? I might as well tell you that your elder brother Son Gohan also broke through this form, and died in my hands in the end. Of course, you are no exception. After a brief surprise, Cell was still confident. If it was 8 years ago, this form would indeed have threatened him. And 8 years ago, he was able to completely kill Son Gohan, mainly because Vegeta was too reckless. Son Gohan lost an arm trying to save Vegeta. If not, he wouldn't be able to kill Son Gohan so easily. But now it is completely different. In these 8 years, even if he didn't train very seriously, his strength is still not comparable to that of 8 years ago. It is more than enough to kill this stinky brat who just broke through. Really, don't be too confident, Cell. I said long ago that you are doomed to die by my hands. Son Goten's tone was as cold as his gaze. The moment the voice fell, the body disappeared like a ghost. There was only an afterimage left on the spot, and the body was already in front of Cell. An uppercut was thrown directly and heavily. Boom. Before Cell could react, a heart-piercing pain hit from his abdomen in an instant. Wow. Call out. Purple blood sprayed out directly from the mouth, while the body flew upside down in an instant. The whole person hugged his abdomen in pain and looked at Son Goten in disbelief. This stinky brat has just broken through this form, but the power he possesses seems to have surpassed that of Son Gohan 8 years ago. But, damn, how is this possible? This stinking brat is stronger than Son Gohan at that time. Cell hugged her stomach tightly, her face full of disbelief. And this guy is too decisive. Without giving him any time to breathe and transform, he launched an attack directly. Whoosh. Without further ado, Son Goten's body burst out again. Then a 360-degree turn and a roundabout kick hit Cell's neck heavily again. Rumble. Cell's body smashed directly into the ground. A huge sinkhole also appeared. Ha. Without hesitation, Son Goten blasted out countless energy waves with both hands. Boom boom boom. Rumble. The huge crater on the ground continued to expand, and mushroom clouds like towering trees soared into the sky. Son Goten is well aware that such an attack is not enough to kill Cell outright, even if he has broken through to the form of Super Saiyan 2 now. But it is still difficult to completely solve Cell. But his goal has been achieved. I didn't use Ultra Instinct before. The main purpose is to use the oppression and crisis brought by Cell to break through my limit and become Super Saiyan 2. Now he has become Super Saiyan 2 as he wished. Then Cell naturally loses its value, and there is no need for it to exist. Rumble. Sure enough, the other side soon trembled again. Blue lightning began to linger non-stop. Ha. Accompanied by Cell's heart-piercing roar, the ground began to crack rapidly, and the cracks spread in all directions like spider webs. Whoosh. Cell's body also rushed out of the ground and jumped up. At this time, he has obviously shown all his strength. Jet-like gas flames also surged all over his body, accompanied by blue electric arcs. Obviously, this is Cell's lightning form. It can also be called the form of Super Saiyan 2. After all, this guy also has Saiyan's blood in his body. Smelly brat. It's been many years since anyone made me feel such heart-piercing pain. You really surprised me, and at the same time you completely ignited my anger. Then next, I will let you have a good taste of the fear that is scarier than hell. Cell clenched his fists, and the golden flames around his body became more violent. The blue lightning flashed like little snakes in the golden flames. The aura of the whole person also reached an incomparably terrifying level in an instant. Is it? Don't be so self-righteous, Cell. I admit that your power of reality is very strong. Even in my form, it is difficult to defeat you. But I'm sorry, the purpose of fighting you has been achieved, so I won't waste any more time with you. Next, I will completely erase you in an instant. Son Goten's tone was extremely calm. After the voice fell, it turned out that it directly exited the form of Super Saiyan 2 and changed back to normal. Cell and Keelan on the opposite side both looked bewildered. Don't understand Son Goten's approach at all. To defeat Cell, the form of Super Saiyan 2 is the only hope. But now he has exited the form of Super Saiyan 2. What is this guy trying to do? Chapter 14. Cell was directly forced by Son Goten's actions. Looking at Son Goten in disbelief. I thought in my heart, this kid is not stupid, right? Or he was so frightened by his powerful aura that he lost his fighting consciousness. The form just now is the only one that has a chance to defeat himself. But he actually exited that form directly. This is completely a fool's behavior. Wahahaha. After being dazed for a moment, Keelan suddenly burst out laughing crazily. The brat in front of him has really good talent, but his personality is much more arrogant than both Son Goku and Son Gohan. After exiting the transformation of Super Saiyan, he still tried to kill himself in a flash. This is simply a dream. I don't know how Son Goku gave birth to such a stupid son. Goten, don't be careless. Hurry up and change into the form just now, only then will it be possible to defeat Cell. Keelan on the side also supported his weak body, and hurriedly said to son Godin. Under normal conditions, Shalu would definitely be able to kill Godin in an instant. Son Godin turned a deaf ear to Cell's laughter and Kling's reminder. Because of this boring game, he no longer wants to continue. He wants to get rid of Cell as soon as possible. Smelly brat, I have lost interest in this game. Since you want to take the initiative to seek death, then I will help you. Cell is not ready to continue playing with son Godin at this time. Because for some reason, a feeling of uneasiness suddenly lingered in his heart. Maybe something might go wrong if you play for too long. Just like when I dealt with son Gohan, I almost sent myself away. Call out. The moment Cell's voice fell, he rushed directly to son Godin. Then he blasted out with a heavy punch. This time, he didn't hold anything back, but used all his strength. The speed also increased to the extreme in an instant. Even son Godin in Super Saiyan form couldn't resist this attack at all. What's more, this kid has quit Super Saiyan's transformation, he is looking for death. It's over. Clinton's heart was ashamed. He didn't know why Godin would do this. It has obviously broken through the limit of Super Saiyan 2 and reached the realm that Gohan has reached before. But why did he suddenly give up resistance? In this case, the earth is completely hopeless. Die. Ha ha ha. Cell roared and laughed wildly. After killing the stinky brat in front of him, no one in this world can compete with him again. Only when his fist was only 3 meters away from son Godin. Son Godin suddenly closed his eyes. The body only moved more than 10 centimeters, and it just avoided his fist. At the same time, silver lines rose from around the body. What? No. Impossible. How could this stinky brat escape my attack? He has clearly exited the form of Super Saiyan. He missed with all his strength, and Cell's entire body paled in shock. Even as a Super Saiyan, the brat shouldn't be able to dodge his own attacks. But now he actually avoided it and closed his eyes. This made Cell start to doubt life. Swish. Almost at the same time, son Godin's eyes suddenly opened. A silver crescent flashed in the pupil. Immediately afterwards, silver light suddenly radiated from around the body. The temperature of the entire space suddenly increased in an instant. At the same time, the silver light formed a silver beam of light that directly pierced the sky and soared into the sky. What's going on here? Is Saiyan a higher level transformation? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. How could this stinky brat comprehend a higher level of Saiyan transformation? Cell took a few steps back in fright, and an overwhelming sense of oppression hit the depths of his heart instantly. His keen perception made him realize that son Godin is very dangerous now. Perhaps as he said before, he has the strength to kill himself in an instant. That's what's going on. Silver light. Is it also Saiyan's transformation? Keelan on the side was also completely dumbfounded. Because he had never seen such arrogance. All of Saiyan's transformations, after the transformation, the arrogance around the body is golden. But the current foggy sky is wrapped in silver flames. And Godin can't feel his chi at all. In the end, what happened? At the same time, he also felt that Godin's breath had completely disappeared. He can't feel it at all. It's like turning into a cyborg by yourself, completely unable to capture any breath of Godin. This is just too weird. Just when Cell panicked and Kling was shocked. The silver beam of light began to dissipate little by little, and the figure of son Godin appeared in front of the two of them again. At this time, his body was still surrounded by silver aura. The pupils are silver, the black hair is windless and automatic, and the whole person looks a bit ethereal. That's right, this is the Ultra Instinct Mega. He intends to completely eliminate Cell in an instant. At this time, son Godin's eyes were extremely calm, but it gave people a sense of oppression from the depths of the soul. At this moment, he is like a god on high. Daunting. Cell's heart was instantly surrounded by endless fear. For some reason, he felt that death had enveloped him. But, damn, why do you feel like a bastard? I don't believe in such a bastard thing. Cell gritted his teeth tightly. He felt that this was an illusion, a blindfold. As long as he is not afraid, this kind of blindness will have no effect on him. Aha! With a roar, suppressing the fear in his heart, Cell rushed directly to son Godin. It was just at the moment when his body just moved. Son Godin's fist had already hit his chest firmly. The chest was directly pierced by a punch, and a large bloody hole appeared. It's over, Cell. After Son Goten's extremely indifferent voice fell, his palm was directly aimed at Cell's chest. An energy wave blasted out from the palm. In an instant, Cell's body was directly swallowed by the energy wave. Like a candle in the wind, it dissipated instantly. Bang dang. One head fell to the ground. His eyes were wide open, his face full of horror and disbelief. But his vitality is rapidly dissipating. Chapter 15. Shaw. The Cell was actually dealt with. At this moment, Keelan, who was lying on the side, no longer knew what words to use to describe the shock and excitement in his heart. Originally thought that Godin just quit the Super Saiyan form because he felt the strength of Cell and chose to give up. Unexpectedly, although it was to change into a more powerful form, Cell was killed in an instant. This stinky boy, with such a powerful strength, he didn't use it early, which made me always fearful. After recovering from the shock, Keelan also said with a helpless smile. But the tone is full of joy and relief. If Godin had shown his strength from the beginning, it is estimated that Cell would have been killed long ago. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the host for picking up Cell cells and 100 million basic combat power. At this moment, the system's electronically synthesized voice quickly rang in his mind. Son Goten didn't feel too surprised by this either. Because the strength of Cell is already ridiculously strong, we can now draw conclusions. Fight with stronger opponents, and pick up more combat power. As for the cells of Cell, they don't actually have much effect. The guy himself is a hybrid, created from the genes of many warriors on Earth. Although it looks like there are many moves, it doesn't play much role in the battle. The only thing that is useful is probably Piccolo's recovery ability. However, compared with Majin Buu's regeneration ability, this kind of recovery ability is simply a world of difference. Immediately afterwards, Son Goten exited Ultra Instinct mode. Because it still puts a lot of load on the body. Now he can't hold on for too long. After exiting Ultra Instinct, a tingling sensation hit my body instantly. Then quickly took out a fairy bean and ate it. But at this moment, the roar of a helicopter suddenly sounded in the sky. Hum rumble. Soon a helicopter appeared in Son Goten's sight, and the text written on it was the name of a very famous TV station. Son Goten didn't bother to pay attention to these guys, but directly helped Keelan up. Then give Kling the last fairy bean. The injury also recovered quickly. Then Keelan looked at Son Goten in horror and excitement, and asked, Goten, what happened to your appearance just now? Is it also Saiyan's transformation? It's amazing. It killed Lightning Cell in an instant. Amidst the horror and excitement, there was also some admiration. Because Godin was so handsome just now, it's really like a god descending. No, that's a realm. However, I haven't fully grasped this realm. It was just not perfect, and it was extremely exhausting. So it is generally not suitable for use. Son Goten shook his head, then explained. Hearing Godin's explanation, Keelan was even more surprised. Godin was able to create such a powerful ability on his own without anyone's guidance. This kind of talent is indeed beyond the reach of Goku and Gohan. Those nasty guys are at it again. Keelan looked at the helicopter above his head with a look of disgust. These guys know how to flatter that Mr. Fool every day. Now it's time to join in the fun again. By this time, the helicopter had landed. Everyone on the helicopter was extremely shocked when they saw the shocking scene in front of them. What kind of battle is it that can destroy this place like this? It's no wonder that the earth shook so violently just now. A few minutes later, 5 or 6 people got off the helicopter. There was also a very familiar figure. He has a big beard, his signature big curly hair, and looks extremely sloppy. Wearing his own battle robe, with a golden belt around his waist. This person is surprisingly the world-renowned Mr. Fool. He is also the savior of this world. According to the previous news, after the blonde delinquent youth and box lunch boy were all defeated 8 years ago, Cell originally planned to destroy the Earth. It was Mr. Fool who scared Cell away. Of course, this is what Mr. Fool himself told the media. Therefore, he has justifiably become the savior of the Earth. Where is Cell? Where is Cell? As soon as he got off the helicopter, Mr. Satan looked around for Cell, seemingly calm, but actually panicked. Mr. Satan, look, there are 2 people over there, they look very familiar. By the way, I remembered, I saw them 8 years ago when I was fighting Cell. The photographer immediately pointed to Keelan and son Goten, and said in surprise. Didn't those guys get killed by Cell? Why did it appear again now? And when Satan saw Keelan and son Goten, his entire body turned pale with fright. Because those people 8 years ago knew what happened 8 years ago. If they told all about what happened 8 years ago, they would lose their title of savior. Oops, my stomach, I can't do it, my stomach suddenly started to hurt. It hurts, no, I'm going to make it easier. Movie King Satan went online instantly. This trick is simply tried and tested in the face of emergencies. Mr. Satan, we are worried that you will have a stomachache, so we have already prepared to move the toilet. The accompanying staff on the side immediately said with a smile. Mr. Satan will have a stomachache every time it is important, they have long been used to it. So this time I specially prepared a toilet. Ah. Satan was stunned and suddenly dumbfounded. I feel like I've been tricked by these guys. In the end, he had no choice but to bite the bullet and walk in front of son Goten and Keelan. Cut. It's this shameless guy again. Last time, I used the credit of Goku and Gohan to package myself as a savior. Are you going to sit back and enjoy it again? Speaking of which, this guy was not killed in the previous battle. It's really lucky. Keelan looked at Satan approaching with disgust, and said in a low voice. Although Goku they don't care about this kind of thing at all. But he felt very angry. And son Goten raised his eyebrows slightly. Although Satan is an active and funny existence in Dragon Ball, it is very disgusting to take the honor of others who sacrificed their lives to oneself. When watching Dragon Balls, son Goten didn't like the character of Satan very much. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Chapter 16. Looking at the not-so-kind eyes of son Goten and Kling, Satan suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. After all, 8 years ago, he did steal the glory that belonged to these guys in front of him. Although he has an extremely thick skin, he is still a little ashamed. Of course, more is fear and fear. Because he knows better than anyone the horror of these guys in front of him. Although in front of outsiders, he has always claimed that these guys are using cover-ups. But he knew in his heart that it was impossible to cause such destructive power through blindfolding. Only those stupid people will believe their own nonsense. Just when Satan was at a loss and didn't know how to greet son Goten and Keelan. Suddenly, he glanced away and saw the remaining head of Cell. While the color was incomparably shocked, he revealed an expression of ecstasy. Cell was dealt with, which meant he didn't have to fight monsters like Cell. Won't be killed. This is definitely great news for him. Sand. Cell. Is it Cell? Satan looked at Cell's head on the ground with great excitement. Then, he immediately waved to the reporters and photographers not far away. Shouted. Everyone, come here, Cell has been killed. After the words fell, several photographers and hosts hurried over. What's going on? Mr. Satan hasn't made a move yet, how did Cell get eliminated? Who did it? Could it be these two guys in front of me? Both the host and the cameraman were dumbfounded. Including everyone in front of the TV. Wow, haha. Just when everyone was surprised and puzzled, Satan's powerful laughter full of magic sounded. It goes without saying, of course it's my credit. This guy must have known that I was coming to deal with him, so he was scared out of his wits, so he chose to kill himself. In this way, the host and cameraman, and even 99.99% of the audience in front of the TV were fooled in an instant. In an instant, the entire planet was in carnival and shouting. The person they called was naturally the name of Satan. This bastard is really shameless. Someone wants to take all the credit for it. Goten, you can't spoil him like this anymore, I've already disliked this guy. Keelan on the side frowned and said to son Goten. 8 years ago, this guy was so shameless. Now it's the same trick again. Goku and Gohan are generous and kind, and they don't want to care about such things. But he was still very unhappy. After all, that was the short-lived peace that Goku and Gohan exchanged their lives for. In the end, this bastard actually became the savior. Son Goten walked up to Satan step by step. At this moment, Satan was sweating profusely from fright, and subconsciously backed up. Although the child in front of me looks very similar to the child and Son Goku from 8 years ago. But the boy's eyes were completely different from the two of them. This time, it seems to have kicked the steel plate. When Son Goten walked in front of Satan, Satan sat down on the ground in fright. Mr. Satan, I don't want to care about how shameless what you did before, because it has nothing to do with me. But what you did today disgusted me very much. If you want to take away the glory that I sacrificed my life for, you're probably making a mistake, even though I don't care about these things. Son Goten's face was cold, and his tone was even colder. Satan just felt as if he was surrounded by the breath of death. It seemed that at any moment, he might be completely killed by the child in front of him. That cold look is really terrifying. Then Son Goten turned his head, looked at the camera and said, "And you idiots, take a good look, is such a coward qualified to beat Cell? Think about it with your pig brains. How could the destructive power caused by the battle 8 years ago and the current battle be a cover-up?" After the indifferent tone fell, Son Goten walked up to Cell's head. Then he raised his foot and stomped his entire head to pieces. This scene shocked everyone present, including those idiots in front of the TV. As for Satan, he was almost scared to pee. Son Goten looked at the trembling Satan, and continued, "If you continue your shameless behavior, this is your role model." After finishing speaking, he ignored Satan, who was completely frightened. As soon as he turned around, his body jumped and disappeared in place in an instant. Keelan also hurriedly followed. After leading the two away, Satan wiped the sweat from his forehead. It was like walking through the gate of hell just now. The boy's eyes were really terrifying. It seems that the name of the savior has nothing to do with him from now on. By this time, Son Goten and Kling had returned to the capsule company. "Goten, what you said just now was too depressing. It's a joy to see that Satan guy looks so scared," Keelan said to Son Goten with a happy face. "He doesn't have the pure selfless kindness of Goku and Gohan. So I was very angry after watching helplessly that the honor I desperately gained back was taken away by that guy. Apparently, Goten is just like him. Goten, you were so handsome just now. That guy Satan, you have been shameless for 8 years, and now you probably can't pretend anymore." At this time, Bulma also came out of the laboratory, and also said very relieved. "Every time I see this guy's cheeky interview on TV, telling her heroic deeds, of defeating Cell, and even promoting the composite video of the nickel, she got angry." He also saw what Goten said to Satan through live TV just now. "I have to say, I am so relieved. Ha ha." Son Goten just smiled awkwardly. In fact, for the role of Satan, he is not very annoying. After all, he is just an ordinary person, and he is not yet qualified to take it to heart. But his behavior is indeed a bit shameless, so it is necessary to give some warning. By the way, Mr. Kreen, from this meeting, I can't feel your breath at all. Did you turn yourself into an artificial human? Son Goten didn't want to continue discussing about Satan, so he asked to change the subject. He is also curious about this matter, because after he came out of the spiritual time room, he couldn't feel Keelan's breath at all. There are only 2 cases of this. Either Krillin has become a god. Without using Ultra Instinct, I can't perceive the breath of God. But obviously this is impossible. Then another situation is that Kling transformed himself into an artificial human. Because of the artificial human's breath, he also cannot perceive it. Chapter 17. After talking about this topic, Bulma's face changed slightly. In fact, he also stopped Keelan before, because such an approach was contrary to her original thoughts. But Keelan was very stubborn and determined. In the end, he had no choice but to agree and turned Klin into an artificial human. But Keelan looked indifferent. He grinned and said, "You're right, Goten, I've transformed myself into an artificial human. You also know that the upper limit of people on Earth is very low, it is impossible to become as strong as you Saiyan. Before, in order to deal with Cell, I could only come up with such a way to become stronger. Actually, it doesn't matter, because my thoughts and consciousness haven't changed in any way, it's just that my body has become stronger." Although what he said was optimistic, only he knew the pain he experienced during the transformation. Son Goten didn't speak because he didn't know what to say. In this crisis-ridden world, strength does matter. If he faced the same situation as Kling at that time, maybe he would have made the same choice. Either transform into an artificial human, or wait to die. Obviously, there may be a chance of being transformed into an artificial human. Okay, let's not talk about it. Anyway, Cell has been resolved now. Goten, what's next for you? Keelan changed the subject and said. Because the topic just now made the atmosphere a bit dignified, he didn't like this atmosphere. Practice, continue to practice. Son Goten replied very calmly. As a traverser, he knows better than anyone else the great dangers lurking in this world. Although Cell was eliminated, opponents stronger than Cell abound. Majin Buu who has not yet awakened, and gods of destruction who can destroy a universe in an instant. Angel, the master of gods of destruction, and the supreme beings of the Grand Priest and Zeno. Although I now comprehend the Ultra Instinct Mega. But in the eyes of gods of destruction, this level is simply vulnerable. Even gods of destruction is estimated to be able to completely destroy itself in an instant. If you want to control your own destiny, you must have the strength to be arrogant. This point has been very clear since he traveled to this world. Therefore, although there is currently no strong opponent, but one must never stop practicing along the way. But isn't Cell already easily killed by you? Now that you have power beyond all fighters, you can actually relax. And your age is just the age to go to school? Keelan asked a little puzzled. After all, for a kid who is only 9 years old plus the spirit time house. Son Goten was obviously under too much pressure at this time. He should be at the right age to enjoy the carefree life of his childhood. And now that the crisis on the earth has been lifted, there is no need to train so desperately. Or is it that Godin, like the rest of the Saiyan, loves to fight? Right, he is Goku's son. Cell has indeed been solved, but there are still many strong people in this world. Cell is like an ant in front of those real powerhouses. Of course, so do I. The current desperate practice is just to prevent the same mistakes from being repeated in the future. Son Goten's tone was still very calm. Perhaps the current Klin and the others simply cannot imagine the existence of those guys from Gods of Destruction. But he himself is very clear. Hearing Goten's words, Kling was thoughtful. Indeed, he has experienced too many desperate scenes. One after another powerful enemies appear one after another. You don't know what kind of outrageous enemies you may encounter in the future. So training really can't be done halfway. Okay, I'll go back first. I guess Mom is a little worried about me. After Son Goten said something to the two, his body flashed and he disappeared into the capsule company in an instant. At this time, Keelan's face was a little dignified. After being stunned for 3 full minutes, he turned his head and looked at Bulma firmly, and said, "Bulma, please continue to transform me. My current strength is still too weak. If there are stronger enemies in the future, I don't want to be as helpless as I am today." That feeling of helplessness is really uncomfortable. Bulma frowned slightly. After struggling for a moment, he nodded. This earth really needs the protection of Godin and Kling. Okay, I promise you. Bowsy Mountain. Ah. Godin, what the hell is going on here? It's been less than a week since you went out, how did you become so taller? Are you really my Godin? Chi-Chi looked at Son Goten in front of him, obviously a little unbelievable. In less than a week, Godin has grown a lot taller. And the whole person looks more angular and stronger. The baby fat and immature feeling of young children are completely gone. The current Godin is half a head taller than the Godin at that time. Ah, of course I'm Godin. In order to deal with Cell, I went to the spiritual time room to train for 2 years. Son Goten scratched his head in embarrassment, without any concealment. As for Chi-Chi, he felt there was no need to hide anything. Spiritual time house. Is that the magical house in the Tenjin Temple? I've heard Goku mention it before. I heard from Goku that the environment there is very bad, and the food is not good. I must have suffered a lot in there. Chi-Chi looked at Son Goten with a distressed face. 8 years ago, he had heard Goku talk about the spiritual time room of Tenjin Temple. And Goku and Gohan used to train there too. Godin was only 7 years old, and he actually stayed in it for 2 full years. Thinking of the tortures he suffered inside, Chi-Chi felt extremely distressed. It's not bad. Actually, it's not too hard. And my hard work is not in vain, Cell has been completely solved. Son Goten replied with a smile. Yeah, my Godin is the best. Goku and Gohan will be very pleased to see that you are so strong. Okay, you have worked hard in the spiritual time room, I will hurry to make you some delicious food now. After speaking, Chi-Chi hurried to prepare delicious food for Godin. Chapter 18. About half an hour later, Chi-Chi made a table full of delicacies from mountains and seas. It is indeed delicacies from mountains and seas, except for Baozishan, those outside metropolises can't eat these things at all. The reason is very simple. There are all kinds of rare and exotic animals living in Baozi Mountain, and ordinary people dare not set foot on Baozi Mountain. Once ordinary hunters set foot in such a dangerous place, they may become the belly meal of saber-toothed tigers or dinosaurs. There are also giant lizards, which are completely special delicacies unique to Baozi Mountain. Godin, I must have been starving in the spiritual time room for the past 2 years, I need to eat more. Chi-Chi wiped her hands on her apron, looking like a housewife, and said to son Godin. Well, thanks mom. Son Godin nodded. Then he started to eat voraciously. To be honest, when I first came to this place, the things in front of me looked really cautious, and it was really hard to swallow. But slowly, he was completely used to eating these things. And it's very delicious. What's more important is that the quantity of these things is very large and the portion is very sufficient. Saiyan's stomach tube is full. Soon, a large table of dishes was wiped out by son Godin alone. After all, the food in the spiritual time room is really bad, especially the food made by oneself is even more difficult to swallow. After eating, son Godin went back to the back of Baozi Mountain and started training. As he said before, training must never stop. Because once it stops, it may become the same as Son Gohan, becoming Nobihan. And it has only just become the form of Super Saiyan 2, so it is necessary to consolidate the current strength. In this way, the ordinary and comfortable life passed by day. In the blink of an eye, 2 months passed. And son Godin insisted on training hard every day. Didn't slack off by getting rid of Cell. Because he knows that the strength of every enemy he will face next is far beyond that of Cell. And at this time in the most remote and desolate valley in the eastern capital, there is a huge underground spaceship. At this time, in the spaceship, there were several strange-looking figures. And in front of several people, there was a pink giant egg placed upright. At this time, purple light was constantly flashing on the pink giant egg. Chi, my Majin Buu, wake up quickly. After waking up, you can help me and rule this universe. The one who spoke was none other than the evil magician Babidi. And the pink giant egg in front of him is naturally the giant egg that seals Majin Buu. At this time, the top of the giant egg is shining with purple light, indicating that Majin Buu has absorbed a lot of energy. It is estimated that the seal will be broken soon and come out from inside. The reason why Majin Buu's energy collection is so fast is because of the big battle 2 months ago. Although I am not particularly familiar with those two guys. But the energy generated by the two of them fighting is really strong. He has collected energy for thousands of years in the universe, but not as much as that great war. Now his Majin Buu wakes up quickly. Then you can take control of the entire universe, kill that self-righteous Supreme Kai, and avenge his father. Lord Babidi, there is no need to wait for Majin Buu to be resurrected at all. I can easily rule the world and kill Supreme Kai. At this time, a guy with elf ears and pink skin spoke. This guy is the demon Lord Dabra. He spoke with incomparable confidence. After all, as a member of the demon world, and also a demon king, he does have incomparable self-confidence and a sense of superiority. Shut up. Try to say as little ass like this to me in the future, or I'll make you Majin Buu's fodder. Babidi was suddenly displeased, and said something to the demon Lord Dabra. Although this guy is also very strong, he will definitely not be able to rule the world. Reviving Majin Buu is the surest way. Yes, Lord Babidi. Demon Lord Dabra quickly nodded respectfully. There is no way, he has been completely controlled by Babidi. As long as it goes against Babidi's will, it will be destroyed instantly. Wake up quickly, my Majin Buu. Babidi once again looked at the dome in front of him. And son Godin at this time. Busy with training, I didn't feel the aura of guys like Barbie at all. Because they didn't release the breath in their bodies at all in order to be sure. Most of the things about collecting energy are done by two controlled humans. And the breath of human beings is too weak, and it is impossible for Son Godin to perceive all the breaths on the entire planet. Hum rumble. Just when Son Godin was training for 6 or 7 hours, he was ready to take a good rest. Suddenly the roar of a helicopter sounded. Immediately afterwards, a pink helicopter quickly approached here. Son Godin glanced up, not taking it seriously at all. Because the approaching breath is very weak. That is to say, it is slightly stronger than ordinary people, and it is not as strong as Chi-Chi's breath. Soon, the pink helicopter was circling above Sun Goten's head. The last bit of landing. Hum rumble. The hurricane created a wave of air on the ground, and the debris and dust were blown out. Then Sun Goten stopped in front of Sun Goten. At this time, Sun Goten finally saw the people in the helicopter clearly. Vital. How could it be her? After seeing the people in the helicopter clearly, Sun Goten suddenly showed surprise on his face. I didn't expect Satan and his daughter to be lucky. When Cell left Earth 8 years ago, it killed many humans. Unexpectedly, they actually became survivors. It's no wonder that Satan was not killed in so many crises in the original Dragon Ball. Even when Majin Buu destroyed the Earth, almost all ordinary people on the Earth died, only that guy Satan survived by chance. While Son Gohan was surprised, Vital had stepped off his helicopter. Then he went straight to Sun Goten. Apparently, she was after Sun Goten. Chapter 19. Sun Goten held a piece of fluffy grass in his mouth, and because he was tired from training, he rested on a rock. Seeing Vital's appearance, although he was a little surprised, he didn't get up. In the original Dragon Ball book, Vital is Son Gohan's wife. But in this time and space, Son Gohan has been killed in the Cell game. So there is obviously no possibility for the two of them. However, Vital actually appeared in Bowsy Mountain at this time, which made him feel a little puzzled. But it should be because of what he warned Satan before. After all, Satan is Vital's father. And in Vital's mind, she has always regarded her father as a superhero and her role model. I have no doubts about his strength. Then something Son Goten said 2 months ago apparently made Vital question her father. You are Son Goten. Vital walked directly in front of Son Goten and asked. However, there was a slightly surprised expression on his face. Because Son Goten, who was seen on live TV before, had extremely indifferent eyes. At a young age, there was a murderous aura crawling out of the mountain of corpses and sea of blood. But now it looks like a lazy handsome guy next door. It was completely different from what I saw in the live broadcast before. I am, what can I do for you? Son Goten nodded, and asked in a lazy tone. You bastard, do you know how much damage you said 2 months ago to my father's reputation? By the way, my father is Mr. Satan, the world fighting champion. Vital said straight to the point. These 2 months have been a torment for his father. Countless media reports and interviews scrambled to crush their thresholds. And her father has aged a lot recently because of this incident. So she always wanted to ask Son Goten for an explanation. However, this search took 2 full months. Even relying on his contacts, it is indeed difficult to find such a small remote place. And there seems to be no trace of anyone else's life here except Son Goten. So it's Mr. Satan's daughter. What kind of explanation do you want to ask for when you come to me? Do you want to defend the shameless things your father did before, or do you want to teach me a lesson for your father? Son Goten's tone was still extremely lazy, and he looked at Vital and asked lightly. It seems that Vital really trusts her father very much. This kind of trust and worship is so blind to the point of heinousness. Why did you frame my father before? 8 years ago, it was my father who drove away Cell, so we all had 8 years of peace. But just because of your few words, everyone questioned my father. Do you know how humiliating this is for a world fighting champion? Vital said indignantly, although she also doubted her father. But in this world, her father is the strongest existence. And it's an accepted thing. But just because of Son Goten's previous appearance and what he said, the situation has completely changed now. Oh, Son Goten narrowed his eyes slightly. Then he stood up and walked directly in front of Vital. Because of the 2 years of training in the spiritual time room, Son Goten has grown a lot taller at this time. Almost as big as Vital. After all, girls are already relatively petite. And Son Goten is still Saiyan, and Saiyan has the characteristic of growing taller suddenly. This is what Son Gohan told Piccolo in the theatrical version of Dragon Ball Super, Super Heroes. And Son Goku grew from a kid to a handsome guy in just 3 years when he was a child. Framed. The word you used is really extremely inaccurate. Ask yourself, with your father's 3-legged cat skills, do you think you can really deal with the Cell that can easily destroy the planet? For a character like him, Cell can be crushed into powder with 1 finger. Let me tell you, it was Son Goku and Son Gohan who fought Cell 8 years ago, that is, my father and brother. It was they who sacrificed their lives to obtain this brief peace. But the glory they bought back with their own lives was ruthlessly appropriated by Satan. Don't you think this practice is shameless and disgusting? If your father is really that powerful, why did he almost pee his pants when he saw me? If Cell was really dealt with by him, why didn't he even dare to fart in front of me? The brain is used to think about things, not to hold water or decorate. Use your brain and think about it. Son Goten's lazy tone also became a little bit indifferent. Vidal is actually pretty smart in the original book. But I didn't expect to be so confused now. Naively thought that Satan could kill Cell and save the world. This is simply the greatest joke in the world. This. Seeing Son Goten's condescending posture and hearing his indifferent tone, Vidal fell silent. Yes. If Dad is really strong enough to kill Cell, why is he afraid of such a little kid? And it allowed him to humiliate himself face to face. You must know that it was broadcast live globally at that time, and everyone saw that scene clearly. Such humiliation was simply unbearable for a world-fighting champion and savior. Come back and think about it again, Dad has been really lazy all these years. I have never seen him train well. Is it true that his son Goten in front of him said, it wasn't Dad who repelled Cell? Impossible. How is this possible? Dad is so strong, he is the hero in her heart, the savior of the world. At this moment, she felt that her belief collapsed in an instant. Chapter 20. This is impossible. How could my father be such a person? Vidal muttered in disbelief. Obviously, though her heart may have believed what Son Goten said. However, the belief that she had held on to for more than 10 years suddenly collapsed, which really made it difficult for her to accept this fact. Look carefully. Seeing Vidal still seemed unacceptable. Son Goten said lightly, and then an energy ball instantly condensed in the palm of his hand. Then, it directly blasted towards a mountain opposite. Rumble. Accompanied by the violent roar, the mountain peak immediately turned into dust. Do you think your father has this kind of power? Son Gohan asked again. Vidal had an incredible look on his face this time. She didn't see clearly how the mountain exploded just now. And Son Goten doesn't have any direct contact with the mountain. According to my father's words, this is definitely a blindfold. Did you use a blindfold just now? Vidal asked innocently. Because in her father's view, everything that cannot be explained by science is a blindfold. Son Goten shook his head helplessly. Afterwards, his body leapt lightly, and disappeared directly into a stream of light. Introducing this kind of thing to Vidal is simply playing the piano with the cow. Ah, Vidal is completely fooled. That Son Goten guy, can he fly? It disappeared in front of him in an instant. Is this also a blindfold? No, absolutely impossible. This shouldn't be a blindfold. Bastard, I must find you and see what abilities you have. Vidal clenched his fist tightly and said through gritted teeth. Son Goten certainly piqued her curiosity. Let her have an urge to study Son Goten thoroughly. But now Son Goten doesn't know where she flew to, so she can only drive her own helicopter and leave Bowsy Mountain. But one day, she will find Son Goten again. Then he thoroughly researched and understood. 10 days passed in a flash again. During this period of time, Son Goten was also rare and quiet. Vidal didn't come after him again. Even Keelan never came again. At this time, his strength has been very stable, and has reached the strength of Super Saiyan in the second midterm. If he encounters Lightning Cell now, he is confident that with his current strength, he can easily defeat Cell without using Ultra Instinct. And just as Son Goten continued training, he suddenly felt some strange breath coming to the earth. These breaths have never appeared on the earth, but their breaths are much stronger than ordinary earthlings. And it is approaching at an extremely fast speed. Who is it? These breaths are not very strong, but there is a familiar feeling. After feeling these strange breaths, Son Goten stopped training and muttered. And he felt these breaths approaching him quickly. Is the target yourself? Afterwards, Son Goten could only stand still and wait. He felt that these breaths were obviously aimed at him. 10 minutes later, a huge black shadow appeared in the sky. At the same time accompanied by a roar. It's just that this roar is deafening, completely different from the sound of Vidal's helicopter. A huge black shadow covered the sky, and in just a few seconds, it fell in front of Son Goten. Looking around, it is a very familiar universe spaceship. Universe ship of the Frieza Legion. But the breath of these guys is very weak, it can't be Frieza at all. Son Goten then muttered again. Although the universe spaceship is very similar to the universe spaceship of the Frieza Legion. But apparently it wasn't Frieza. Because the Frieza of this time and space has been killed by the Trunks of the future time and space. More importantly, Frieza also has at least 100 million fighting power. Obviously, the combat power of these guys in helicopters cannot reach this value. Just when Son Goten was wondering, the hatch of the spaceship universe was opened, and then a crowd of people came out of it. They stood neatly in 2 rows. These guys are obviously from universe. Then, an old man with gray hair walked out of the universe spaceship slowly. Wears the old combat uniform of the Frieza Legion. And this guy is one-eyed. Paragus. Trunks recognized the guy immediately. It was Broly's father, Paragus. No more than the old Broly's father. This guy, how did you find me? Son Goten was still puzzled. To be honest, few people on Earth knew of his existence 2 months ago. It is also because of the battle with Cell that he is known to all people on Earth. And if he remembered correctly, Paragus and Broly should live in the southern galaxy. The North and South Milky Way are 2 extremes. I didn't expect this guy to be quite well informed. In just 2 months, it can be found from Earth in the northern galaxy. At this time, Paragus has also walked in front of Son Goten. Then he put his right hand on his chest and made a very respectful gesture. This is Saiyan-za of the Strong. Hello, Mr. Son Goten. Allow me to introduce myself, my name is Paragus. Paragus' tone was very polite. But there was a gloomy and ruthless look in this guy's eyes. Perhaps this is the ferocity of pure Saiyan. I don't care who you are. What I care about is what are you doing here on Earth? What's the matter with me? If there is no suitable reason, I will let you all stay here in an instant. Son Goten said lightly. For Paragus in front of him, Son Goten couldn't arouse any interest. But for Paraha's son Broly, Son Goten was really interested. Because that guy is pure legendary Super Saiyan. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.